This is ENN, the Environmental News Network.
ENN News. I am your host, Jaxson Allen. I study ecosystems in Arlington, Texas. If you don't know what an ecosystem is a certain place where animals and plants live. It is the beginning of November 2011. I'm in an area near my home in Arlington, Texas. The reason we study ecosystems is so we understand how living and non-living coexist. This helps in conservation and planning of cities. I study 4 key areas of an ecosystem: food webs, interdependence between living and non-living factors, symbiotic relationships in ecosystems, and biological competition. I'm going to talk about various food webs in Arlington, Texas. A food web is a system of interlocking and interdependence of food chains. We'll start at the bottom of the food chain. Decomposers like insects, worms, mushrooms, flies, and grubs. And then we go to vegetation, that are plants like grasses, flowers, and trees. And then we have the primary consumers, are herbivores that only eat plants, like deer, cows, and rabbits. Then we have the secondary consumers that are carnivores that only eat meat, like cats, hawks, and wolves. And then at the top of the food chain we have omnivores that eat everything, like raccoons, humans, and ants. Welcome back to ENN News. I'm going to talk about the interdependence between abiotic and biotic factors. Biotic components are the living things that shape an ecosystem. And an example of a biotic factor is cats, squirrels, ants, hawks, trees, and flowers. Abiotic components are non-living chemical, physical factors in an environment. An example of an abiotic factor is oxygen, water, sunlight, space, houses, and cars. I'm going to give you a good example of an interdependence between abiotic and biotic factors, like this tree. During the drought this summer, this tree didn't have enough water, so if you can see, all these other trees are green. So during the drought, the tree died. And as you can see, without the water, when the drought happened, there wasn't enough water for the tree. So then it basically died. Welcome back to ENN News. I'm going to talk about symbiotic relationships in an ecosystem. A symbiotic relationship is a relationship in which 2 organisms from a different species interact in an ecosystem. An example of a symbiotic relationship is squirrels and trees. Squirrels rely on the tree for food and shelter, and the tree relies on the squirrel for the squirrel to get out all the rest of the nuts to the ground, and when they bury it into the ground, it leaves seeds in the ground, and then they grow more trees. As you can see, there's tons of trees around here. Another example is bees and multiple insects and flowers. Like bees, butterflies, and other animals that do stuff like bees and butterflies. When the bee touches the flower, the bee gets pollen on its legs, and then when it travels to each tree or flower, it spreads the pollen and seeds throughout the ecosystem, and then as it goes, it drops pollen to the ground and then grows more trees, more flowers. Welcome back to ENN News. I'm going to talk about biological competition. The definition for biological competition is living organisms competing for food while for water, shelter, and an ecosystem. An example of biological competition is if there was a drought, and the trees weren't producing enough nuts for the birds and squirrels to eat, they would compete in the most cases in an ecosystem. The bigger and stronger animal would live. Now I'd like to show you some pictures of endangered animals in Arlington, Texas. I'm going to start with the...
You mean the state of Texas, Mr. Allen?
Yes.
All right.
The first one I'm going to do is the horned frog. People might think people say it's called a horned frog, but it's supposed to be called a horned toad or a horned lizard. It is on the endangered list. So now I'm going to show you the Mexican long-nosed bat on the endangered list. This is what these animals are on the endangered list because of biological competition, like the Mexican spotted owl on the endangered list. Then on the producers list of the endangered list is the star cactus on the endangered list. Now I'm going to do one of the small endangered list. Is the pocket mouse on the endangered list. I don't know if it could fit in your pocket, but it's pretty close. And now I'm going to do one of my favorites, the black-footed ferret on the endangered list. Thank you for watching ENN News. Hope this helped you educate you on your ecosystems in Arlington, Texas. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. From ENN News, goodbye.
This is ENN, the Environmental News Network.